Girl, if you believe in love, why won't you believe in me? She came into town like you're not.
Where we're sitting here today, with all the things you've done, and you have a very, very solid career coming. Very solid career. Your music is wonderful. What has been your biggest accomplishment up to this point for you?
Biggest accomplishment up to this point. I have one that has happened, and I have one that's happening.
Give us that happened.
The one that happened, I just talked about it, whether you know it or not. Earlier this year, an online contest popped up where the winner got to go perform with Adam Duritz of Counting Crows. And I saw that pop up, and I'm not just making this up. It's not a guy on my top 10 list. He's my biggest influence of all time. And so when the opportunity popped up to perform in front of him and have him hear my music, I went for it. And I'm honored to say my fans, it was a voting process to a certain point, but then it came down, my fans got me into this elite group where Adam Duritz sat down and listened to him. And then I got a phone call one day saying, Adam has listened to your stuff and he's selected you as the winner. So my all-time biggest idol and influence heard my songs and dubbed me the winner. And I got flown to Austin, Texas to perform at his showcase, and I'm standing there before the show and I hear Tyler, and I turn around and Adam Duritz, I can't say it enough, my idol,
That must have
is
been
calling my name.
a rush.
And, yeah, I talked to him for like 10 minutes, and I'm playing a show, and he's filming me in the audience, and I had a beer with him after. It was bizarre, and
That's a heck of a highlight.
later that week,
That's a
I
heck
was
of a
on
highlight.
stage with him sharing a microphone singing Bob Dylan's I Shall Be Released, and to be sharing a microphone with your all-time biggest idol, that's my biggest musical accomplishment.
That's success.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
is success.
Exactly. I could tell myself up and down, I'm not where I want to be, I haven't made it. My best friend was there that night, and he's my former keyboard player, and he kept assaulting me, poking me in the chest, you've made it. Don't tell yourself any different. You have made it. The kid 10 years ago would be stoked to be where you're at. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Now, what are you doing now currently? Are you performing around here locally? And we definitely want to tell all these folks how we can get a hold of you and how people can access you.
I'm extremely accessible. TylerStenson.com has all the links to everywhere you'd need to find me. Facebook page is Tyler Stenson Music. Twitter is @TylerStenson. Instagram is @TylerStenson. But TylerStenson.com is the hub for all things newsletter. Facebook is I'm most active there. I do tweet a fair amount, but again, you're going to hear about the Portland Trail Blazers.
Oh, he had to show this. He's a loyal, subtle fan of the Portland Trail.
Not so subtle. Not so subtle. I was joking earlier that I talk about the Blazers probably as much as my music, so bear with me if you follow me there. But TylerStenson.com is the hub for absolutely everything. Another online contest just popped up for Guitar Center, was searching for the next great American songwriter. And 10,000 people entered, and I am proud to say I just got announced as a top 10 finalist. So March.
See, we didn't know that.
You didn't
prior
know
to
this?
So this is,
Yeah.
you got me.
Yeah.
You stung me on that one.
March
Fantastic.
1st, I will be performing in Los Angeles for a top 10 contest. And the cool thing about this is, again, my fans, thank you, fans. Thank you. They got me into this top 10 to be considered by Adam Duritz. My fans got me into the top 3, but technically the top 100 were reviewed by Don Was, who's the producer of Bob Dylan, Bonnie Raitt, John Mayer, Rolling Stones, Stevie Nicks. 120 million albums sold, Grammy award-winning producer. He went through the top 100, and picked 10 artists he believes he could work with, because the grand prize is to record an album with them. So, March 1st, I will be performing in Los Angeles in the top 10 Guitar Center search for the next great American songwriter. And
You're riding a pretty good wave right now, aren't you?
yeah,
As far as popular. Does that scare you a little bit with the notoriety you're getting and the levels of the surroundings, I guess I should say, just where you're going and where you've come from? And
it's refreshing because I've been at it for coming up on 15 years now, and the first 13 and a half were pretty thankless, and so.
But I know you're younger than I am, but you've heard that statement, it takes 15 years to be an overnight success.
I've not heard that.
Makes sense?
I guess I'm still far from success, but I'm coming up on 15 years, and I can honestly say only the last year
Sure.
has it been. I opened for Leanne Rimes this year. I opened for John Popper at Sundance Film Festival. There's been a lot of cool things happening this year that I can't say happened in the first 13.
But those were practice years.
And those
to
are
get there.
practice years. So,
What's your ultimate goal? To be a working, solid musician, making an income off of that for the rest of your life? Or?
I think my goals are humble. I want to make 6 figures off of music and only music. So I don't have aspirations to pack stadiums.
Right.
I don't have aspirations to be on covers of magazines. I want to play calculated, specific shows for a cult following across the nation, across the world. I want to make some money. I would like to make
Sure.
6 figures, but again, I'm not saying.
That's a good, solid working musician that's making a decent living.
Yeah, it's not fame and fortune. It's my goals are to be a stable father and a supportive husband and stuff like that. So I want to make a living for my family. And
Well, let's go into that a little bit. You are engaged?
I'm
Is that right?
recently engaged.
Yeah? What's the gal's name? The lucky gal?
Angeli.
Angeli?
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit of worldly advice. It's not about finding the right girl. I told him this earlier. It's about beating the right guy.
I saw you post that the other day, and I had a.
That works. Do you perform primarily, now, do you have a band a lot of times, or are you alone a lot of times? And if you do have a band, who do you work with? Who do you play with?
I do probably 95% of my shows solo.
Just you?
Just me.
Oh, I see.
Just because I pour so much into the lyrics
Yeah.
that when I have a band, it tends to be a bit more of a party atmosphere and nobody's listening to the words. So in order to get my brand of music across and the root intention of my music, it's in silent listening rooms, solo, where I can kind of like whisper and tell stories to people. And when I do have a band, it tends to be more of a festival atmosphere or
sure.
bar atmosphere. And in that case, I have a group of guys that I love to work with. And shout out to Peter Rodeker. He's produced my last 3 albums. And he is the guitar player in my band. And for all intents and purposes, kind of the band leader. Like I'm not very musical, so he does a lot of interpretations for the other musicians. So I have some musicians I've used across the years, but he's been a pretty steady constant.
So having done this now for, 15 years, basically, you've been working at this as a musician. What advice would you give to a young person beginning out that's 14, 15, 16 years old? What are some words of advice and some direction?
The number one thing I've learned in the last 2 years that I didn't really enact the first 13 years is you don't get it unless you ask for it.
Expand on that.
That includes the gig, that includes fan support, that includes CD sales. Break it down. If there's an opportunity out there that you're, if a big act is coming to town and they don't list an opener on their website, and you'd really love that opportunity, do the research and find who to contact and ask for the opportunity. you're not just going to pop in their head randomly, especially if you're a no-name. So squeaky wheel gets the grease. You don't get it unless you ask for it. And like I said, that includes the gig. That includes fan support. Because everybody is so busy in their own day-to-day that as much as you think you're the center of the universe, you're not. And so if you need them to come to a gig, say, hey, come to this gig. If you need them to vote for something, say, hey, I need your vote. Here's the link. That's the number one thing that's propelled my career is asking for
I don't think
help.
I've ever had anybody respond to that. They'll usually say, you know, thick skin, persistence, tenacity. But yours is, if you want something, you got to ask for it.
Yeah.
Ask.
I would honestly say advice for young musicians, from day one, you don't get it unless you ask for it. And then, yes, have very thick skin and internal confidence to know that this guy said no and this guy said no, but the next four are going to say yes.
Right.
So
That is interesting because every no that you get, you're getting closer to that yes.
yeah. And
It's
even
kind of-
maybes are cool because
These are real nice.
until you hear that, yeah. There are times I try to open for a big act coming through town up until the day before when on the website they finally post the name, probably because I've been hounding them.
Sure.
This is the opener. Stop hounding me. You know.
Look, it's that dude again. He wants to know who the opener
Yeah.
is. Just
So
make up a name and send it to him.
until you hear the word no, it's an option.
We hope you've enjoyed this. And again, how do we get a hold of you?
TylerStenson.com has
TylerStenson.com.
all the links you'll need and more.
And if you're ever in Portland, you got to see this guy live. But very soon, I think you're going to be seeing him live in a lot of cities around the country. Our City Radio, your city, your talent, our radio. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Carry on.